This is the show that has hosted everyone from Sugar Ray Leonard to Keith One-Time Thurman. This is Tough Talk Tonight, brought to you by Heavy Bag Boxing.
What another episode of Tough Talk Tuesday. As always, I'm your host with alongside me. I got Sakura, I got James, I got Rob. I said Tuesday, it's a Thursday. We got to take what we got, guys.
Right.
It's Tough Talk Thursday.
This week it is. Let's start off here. Resendiz upsets Caleb Plant. Woo! He was a plus 1,100 underdog on Vegas odds.
Upset of the year.
But is it though?
Yeah, we are. I mean, there's been a few so far, but this is, one of the key upsets. And the other thing is that it kind of pushed out the possibility of Jamal Charlo fighting Plant. And that's something that we all were kind of looking forward to because, they have a history. And it's at 168, but that's pretty much done.
But here's my thing, James. And I don't think it's done. I don't think it should be done. Here's why. Here's my issue with the whole Plant losing this fight. It's due to inactivity. And we all know it. Charlo was, what was it, 500 and some odd days inactive since his last fight. Over 500 days inactive. Caleb Plant, 255 days inactive. Come on, guys. You gotta start fighting. And that's your own damn fault. So yes, Caleb Plant lost. He should have. He's been inactive. He's fighting a fighter who just came off the biggest win of his career by beating Jared Hurd. Retired Jared Hurd in the ring. Right? So you're facing an active, smart, good fighter. And you're coming off 255 days inactive. That's the issue here. That's the problem. They're inactive fighters. These guys better get their ass straight and get in the ring and get this stuff together. That's why he lost the fight.
Well, you see, Charlo, I mean, he had twice the inactivity period. And he looked okay. He looked okay coming back, but he was fighting a guy named Thomas Lamanna who, gave it all he could. Just doesn't really belong in that league. He's okay at best. He's ballsy. There's no question about it. The guy's, he really brings it, and he took a beating. Nowhere near the level of Jamal Charlo. But I can't wait to see Jamal Charlo's next out because at 168 he looks pretty big. And I'm thinking a fight with Benavidez in the future might be the perfect foil for him.
Well, I before you say something, Lucas, I just want to ask James this question now. You said it that Lamanna didn't let's face it, he didn't have the talent, right? He didn't even have the talent to be there. But don't you think Charlo should get a few more bouts and get a little bit more active before he even starts talking about bigger fights again?
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, yeah. Because, you never know what kind of opposition that, is coming at him. And he's just got to be ready for it. And with that period of inactivity, what they did well was pick a good opponent for him just to kind of test the water. And they kind of saw it, and he was in shape. He made weight, did what he had to do. But, he's got a few more tests before he can really step it up. They just got to pick and choose real carefully.
I agree with what Rob is saying about boxers not being active enough and that it does show up in fights. But I think it's an injustice to say Resendiz the only one because Caleb was out of, wasn't active enough. Because I feel like there's a lot more you know, we have to give him credit for being totally in shape and ready to go. And he knew some of Caleb Plant's moves to be able to set him up for punches too. I mean, especially like he knew the time periods when Caleb would dip his head to the right, or you know what his punches is gonna be, so he could counter him well. Like he came fully prepared for a Caleb Plant at any activity level. So we have to still give him credit where credit is due. And yes, he is a sparring partner of Caleb in the past. It seems like it was for one fight, specifically Canelo fight. But that does let you know someone and the way that they fight and different things that they do in the ring a little bit. But Resendiz, he came in and he had his shit together, guys. You know, he was prepared and he was in total shape. He went through the entire 12 rounds, and he really, like, after the fight, he didn't even look like he was out of breath or anything. So we have to give him credit for what he did as well.
No, he looked good. He looked good. 12 rounds. I think that Caleb Plant's conditioning kind of failed him in 10, 11, and 12. He didn't look so strong coming out. And then also the scoring was a little bit funky.
10, 11, 12, I say mid-fight. Plant just kind of fell off mid-fight.
Yeah.
You could see that stamina wasn't there. He did not come prepared. Resendiz, like you guys are saying, he came prepared, and I agree with what Spore was saying. He seemed like he knew Caleb Plant. It seemed like he knew what he was going to do. I'm not sure if it was tape or if it's just the old sparring sessions that he remembered really well. I'm not sure, but he seemed like he knew him.
Plant had a good 6 rounds, and then he begins to fall out. But in the last 3, and it's funny because one of the judges gave Plant a couple of rounds in the end. So that didn't really make sense.
Well, we all know why that is, right? I love Caleb Plant, but I'm going to speak on it even from the people that are, you know, some of my favorite fighters. I'm sorry, but this is a fucking money game. I hate this shit. It is the most corrupt sport. I'm glad that the right guy won, but let's all admit one thing. Resendiz deserved a unanimous decision, not no motherfucking split decision. That's some bullshit.
For sure.
And to your credit, I don't think it was that close.
It was close, but it wasn't close. Like I said, it was unanimous, but I still think it should be at least 2 rounds, if not 3.
I don't think it was close because I feel like in the first 6 rounds, there were still some rounds that could have went for Resendiz even then. But then when the 6th round hit, Caleb, I really couldn't find a round to give him. But, you know, with all that being said, and the judges, we all know Caleb Plant is from and lives in, well, he's not from Las Vegas, but he lives in Las Vegas. So, you know, it could have been some favoritism with that aspect as well. But now that Caleb lost his fight, now we're not setting up a Charlo versus Caleb Plant fight. So now Charlo is like on the hunt, but like, oh, damn, now who I'm going to fight? And at the same time, Resendiz is like, hey, I'll fight you. But
that's who should fight.
That's not a bad matchup.
I mean, it's just the fact that he earned that fight. If you're saying Caleb Plant was about to fight him, then if he loses to this man, then this new boxer, you know, that wasn't in the picture for the fight, Resendiz, he should get that opportunity. I mean, he basically won the fight, so he should get that same door open for him.
Resendiz should fight Charlo. I think that's an excellent. Again, stay busy. Coming off of inactivity, stay busy and get these quality of fights in for Charlo, because Charlo on the night proved that even with a bigger layoff, like James said, when his head is in the game, the talent is there. So I agree. The issue I have with Plant, the biggest issue I have with Plant is and let's compare. This is a commonality here, right? Lamont Roach, Gervonta Tank Davis, former sparring partners, right? Lamont knew who he was facing, and Tank didn't show him anything different. But let's face it, in my humbled opinion, Tank didn't prepare himself like he wanted to win that fight. The same as this fight.
How we get on Tank?
Yeah,
Okay, all roads lead back
Again,
to Tank.
it's the
comparative though.
sparring
It's
partner. It's
comparative.
the sparring
You
partner.
all right?
It's
I
a sparring
compared it.
partner.
I compared it nicely. It's the sparring aspect of it,
I got
and
you.
it's the preparation. Right? I feel like Plant didn't prepare, and the proof is in the pudding, guys. Because at the end of the fight, what did Plant say? I thought I worked well off my jab. What fucking jab? You don't just throw paw the jab out there for a rangefinder. That's not a legal punch. He should have been called out for that too. He didn't throw a jab. He just let the hand out there to find the range in the opponent. That's not a jab.
To begin
I,
with, yeah, and I think that was even commented on by the broadcasting team. Like he was just leaving it out there. He was like he's having problems finding his range. James, I'm sorry, you get ready to say something. Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was thinking it was just a conditioning issue. It was pretty obvious. He slowed
Maybe
down a lot,
saving himself,
dropping his guard a lot, squaring up a bit. A lot of things that you don't normally see, and it just wasn't a good show for Plant. I mean, it's just kind of disastrous.
It's not great. But I do want to say that they're not fighting the same people. Thomas Lamanna, a little bit more beat up, a little bit more old, a little bit more wear and tear on him. So, not to mention, let's also mention, Charlo looked a little bit heavy. Now, we didn't get the night's weigh-in, right? But he did look like he ballooned up a little bit. I'm going to say he's probably light heavyweight night of, right?
Okay, but that's
I felt
normal.
like
I mean, that's normal for a 168-pounder on the night of the
Yeah,
fight
Sure.
to gain. Like he's still within 15 pounds, right? So I mean,
Close.
I'm okay with him. He actually looked good with the weight on, like, and it looked like his power still stayed with him.
Yeah.
yeah.
But yeah, but you're right. It wasn't as strong of an opponent as Plant had, but neither should it have been.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah, I agree
yeah,
with that too. Yeah, he shouldn't have had a tough outing coming back as long as he was out.
right.
Plant, he fought somebody that knew him really well, but he does want the rematch. He said that he would go right into the mall fight, but he's going to go after that rematch. They're going to jump right back in there and do that. So, do you guys think that this guy just has his number, or is this going to be just Plant makes the proper changes, the jab comes back, Rob, and, less point around, a little bit more stamina, James, and he's able to pull out the upset with no problem, or revenge his upset with no problem.
I think he's got the goods to do it. Uh, it's just going to take a little bit of, he's just got to rectify a situation here, and it can be done. Resendiz is good, pretty solid. I think he would be up for a rematch. I don't see why not. I think Plant's got the goods. I mean, he's fought a lot better in the past. So this is just a bad outing for him. So just got to rectify that.
I agree.
Yeah,
I think I love Caleb Plant, and he does have a solid skill level, but his conditioning really failed him on last Saturday night. So he definitely's got to be more prepared and not take any boxer that you fight, a little less, thinking less value of them that you don't put in that additional work that you should. Because I think that's pretty much something that might have happened in that particular fight is that, like, he wasn't putting in the type of preparation that he would have put in for a Canelo, type fight. So I'm sure he learned his lesson on that.
yeah, it may have been one of those things like, oh, he's a sparring partner. I've whipped him up in the past. I got this. I'm not preparing for this at my heart. And that may have happened. It may have cost him years.
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. That's what I was thinking. I was like, oh, this is gonna be two easy fights for these boxers, so that we can, like, they can just like prepare us and do the marketing for the two of them to have their rivalry clash. So, that's what I thought too, and yeah, I was totally wrong. I got to give Resendiz every credit.
Yeah, and then also
He fought amazing.
shout out to Coach Manny Robles. He's a champion maker,
Yes.
and so
Yeah.
he's trained a lot of good ones, and it's a big victory for him too. So shout out to Manny.
Right.
We got William Hunter said Plant has been looked out for. He got exposed. Asked Leighton Watson, who jumped weight class in the amateurs, and Watson brother showed up at the amateur event of Esau Leighton. He went down up to weight.
So I hate to say this, but I agree with William Hunter.
No, you don't. No, you two do not agree. No way.
I agree with William Hunter. I agree with William Hunter. Here's why. Because here's what I was about to say, Lucas. To answer your question, no. I don't know if Caleb Plant can beat Resendiz in the rematch. Because let's not forget, yes, it's a 255-day layoff, but that last fight he fought, he almost lost. He had to jump off the canvas to win that fight, right? He almost lost that fight. I agree with William Hunter. I think Caleb Plant is just who he is. He's now been exposed, and he's not that great of a fighter that people thought he once was.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I think he has some great name, like the names that he's fought, the experience he has, and you grow from amateurs. Like you don't stay the same boxer that you are in the amateurs.
No,
Hunter,
but
you know
that's in
this.
amateurs.
You know
I'm
this.
basing it off his last 2 fights. Okay, the fight prior to this, he was on the canvas.
That
He
was
on the
Trevor.
canvas.
That was Trevor McGregor, wasn't it?
McCumbee.
People get knocked down, but he still stopped them. He stopped them. So what are you complaining about? Listen, I'm not saying William Hunter's not right necessarily. I think everybody avoids somebody. Got that? Everybody avoids somebody. Somebody knows your ass better than you want them to, okay? And you say, oh, fuck that. I'm avoiding that motherfucker. I'm going over here. I believe that wholeheartedly throughout boxing. That happens with every single fighter. I believe that wholeheartedly. So William Hunter, I do believe that. But I still saw a Plant that fought Canelo really, really well. I seen him fight David Benavidez really, really well. This man can fight, okay? Let's not say he got exposed. I'm definitely not going that far. Caleb
He got his ass whooped by Benavidez.
No, he did not. I would say
he got his ass whipped by Benavidez.
He really had Benavidez's number, but then towards the end, just with Canelo, like you can't just keep up. Right, you can't keep up that movement.
Wasn't it a TKO?
I believe it was.
I think he did.
Yes, it was a TKO. They stopped the fight. He was getting his ass beat.
Nope. David Benavidez was decision. In fact, listen to this. You ready for the score? 113, 115, 112, 116, 111, 117. Still kind of a close fight.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Give Caleb Plant some credit. I think also, though, fighting Canelo, fighting David Benavidez, not necessarily helped him out in his career. Going forward, he's got more wear and tear on him. He's got some wars now, so.
That's true.
He kind of did get the shit beat out of him, you know. The first half of those fights, he did really well. And just like in Resendiz, he did better in the first half, and then it fades. You know, the damage starts getting done, and he doesn't react well to it. He doesn't have that second win.
I'm just wondering what happened to him, because in the second half, he just completely fell off. I mean, his jab was gone. Footwork was bad.
Well, we don't know. He might have. He could have overtrained. He could have been sick prior to. Like there's a million reasons why he kind of we call it gassed out, right? So there's a million reasons why that could have happened. But he's got to be stronger when he comes back. Like he has to be able to have better stamina. So I don't know what the keys.
It's not just that. Like defensively, he was a liability. Like he was pulling back stupidly. He had his hands down and shit. He was just getting nailed left and right. I mean, he had no defense,
Well, he
especially
was at
towards the end of the
That's what
fight.
I think. That's
he
why I
was
think that he was really fatigued. I think that he couldn't even, like, he was just on autopilot at a certain point because
yeah.
he knew he didn't have the energy to try to do all those things that you're mentioning. You
Well,
know?
it seemed like he was in no man's land. A lot of times he was like right at mid range, where he should be either inside or step back, half step. But he just kept getting connected simply because he was at mid range. And you know what? Hats off to Resendiz too. He took full advantage of that. You know, because he worked
Yep.
the hooks, left hook really, really well. And
Uh-huh.
that's a lethal blow for almost anyone, and especially with Resendiz conditioning. That was outstanding.
Yeah, that was outstanding. Roble had him like in top shape, okay? But
Mm,
as soon as Caleb Plant learned that he was going to be in Roble's gym training, he should have known to be properly prepared. Because the man is a boxing genius when it comes to training fighters.
All right, let's change topics here. Beat that horse.
Mm-hmm.
Haney versus Tio, signed for August 1st.
I'm hearing
Supposedly.
issues.
I am hearing
Yeah.
that too. That's why there's a question mark down there, Rob. I'm hearing some problems. Listen, I think Top Rank posted it already that it was a done deal. So, and now I'm hearing Tio's part is not signed.
right.
Tio is, from what I understand, Tio is not signed
Yeah, I
to
thought he
anybody
left
right now
Top
either.
Rank.
Correct me?
I
Yeah,
thought he did leave Top Rank. So I mean, there was some
yeah.
issues
He
there.
left for Turks, and then
Turk,
remember
Turk,
Turks, and then
his
Turks
ass out.
gave him the boot, and
Yeah, but
now I guess
that
he
that got cleared up.
That got cleared up too. Well, I
Well,
don't even care. Like that's why I'm like, just
He knew.
finalize the deal, okay, and let me know after you know for sure both parties have signed. I don't want to hear about these fights before they're mythical, magical, almost about to happen. Like, just keep it to yourself. Like until you know that stuff is like really legit confirmed. Because I'm sick of this. Like, if they even hear a whisper of a rumor of anything, they're posting like it's an actual fight. Like, and it's like, no, 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 no. I want to see it on either, Turkey's pages with Riyadh season, or I want to see it with Top Rank's page. If it's a Top Rank boxer or ESPN, like I need some confirmation from legit sources because I'm sick of the rumor has it these two are about to fight. Then 2 weeks later, here we are asking like, oh, is this really a fight that's gonna happen or not?
Yeah, I mean,
hey
we don't usually get like PBC, Top Rank, and the actual promoters sharing fights or sharing information when fights aren't done. So that made me think it is done. But it's
well from what I'm hearing now, Oscar De La Hoya is trying to put his hooks in and talk to Teofimo to sign with Golden Boy. So,
which is
so
not
he
bad.
definitely is a free agent right now. Tio, if you're listening, I know you are. Please don't sign with that idiot. Please, I beg you, don't sign with him, please.
isn't that basically Turk now, though? I mean, it's all right. Am I missing something?
No,
Well,
yeah,
he
like they're
likes Turk,
collaborating with these
right?
boxer,
They're
all
all
these
together,
promoters,
right?
but they don't have to fall in line for every fight. That's what we're seeing right now. But my thing is, listen, if you're a free agent and you already have a name that's recognized, what are you signing to anybody's promotional company for? TO can float. I mean, this literally opens up the doors. If you're a free agent, you can have one fight with, Turkey Al Sheikh, another fight with Top Rank, one with Golden Boy, one with PBC. Like now you can jump over all these hoops and stuff and barriers that you claim you don't like.
Yeah, but normally
Because Tio is one of the he has one of the voices that's saying boxing is screwed up now and nobody wants to fight. So keeping yourself a free agent is the best thing you can do for yourself if
yeah,
you really want to fight all these different boxers at different promotional companies.
Generally,
True.
what they do is try to get him to sign for 3 or 4 fights. That's what Canelo did with Turkey.
Yeah,
And
that's what
generally,
the
like 2 or 3
promoters are
fights,
trying to make you do.
two,
The
2 and 3
promoters
fights.
are trying to make you do that,
They're
but
2 and
you
3
don't
fight
have
deals.
to do that.
And
Well,
it's guaranteed money. I mean, if
it,
you remember, even Mayweather for the longest time used Golden Boy in that way. But yeah, I
Yes.
mean, it's just easier that way for a lot of fighters. But you're getting guaranteed money, guaranteed 3 more fights. You know what I mean?
I
And
mean,
even if you
listen,
lose, that's upfront money. You promised me already. So
Lucas,
I mean,
usually it's easier, but with Tio, we see he has issues with promoters he's working with. Like, he's not it's not easy to work with Tio. So
eh,
it's for him specifically, I don't think it's the best thing for him to do. I mean, because you know, he changes his mind a lot, guys. You know that.
he does.
You know, and
eh,
and 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 promoters, they get sick. They don't like that. Then he talks S about them. Okay, when things aren't going the way he wants them to in his career. So, you know, you're opening yourself up to that too as a promoter. So to me, it's a better situation for Tio if he stays independent.
Well,
he can stay independent, but the promoters are still going to get pissed when he's signing a fight to fight one of their fighters, and then he backs out of that shit and on to something
and
else.
he doesn't sign the contract,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, you
he's
just
not
got to
promoting
sign the
himself.
contracts. That's it. Sign the
Yeah,
contracts.
I don't know.
That's
He's
But
going to be a
who
problem that
knows?
way.
We never know what kind of bylaw came in at the last minute on his contract that's making him be like, whoa, wait a minute. We didn't agree to this. We didn't say that the catch weight, or we didn't say that there's no rehydration clause. Like, there's a million things that can come in on a contract last minute, right? And you're all ready to sign. You agreed to everything else. And then last minute, you might get an addendum or a rider that says some other things like, oh, by the way, you need to stay inside of 5 pounds, you know. Like, those are the
so,
last minute things that we don't know about. So he could
speaking,
have a legitimate reason for not signing it.
speaking of weight, was this at 140 or 147?
147.
Okay.
Actually, what I read was they were meeting at 1.
Who?
See, this is the foolishness right there. Like,
That's what I
just
read.
go on and be the 147.
But I'm tired of it.
Middle. I mean, catch weights, I don't really like it, but when you're coming and you're meeting in the middle, at least it's more fair. You're not asking somebody to jump an entire weight class. You're meeting somewhere in the middle. I like it.
But this is
for
for
those
Haney, though. This is for Haney. He has no problem being 147. It's better for him to be 147 than it is to meet at 145. To me,
I thought it was more for Tio.
Tio be fighting up there. I mean, he makes weight at what? His last fight was 140, right?
I think it was, but is that the rub here?
But he's calling out, you know, people like Jerron Ennis at 147. So
Right.
naturally, I'm thinking like you can get to 147.
If you did that with everybody Tio called out, shit, you'd probably be a heavyweight on that list. Dude just wants to fight everybody, so he says.
Jake Paul is on the list.
Yeah, they won't sign nothing. But anyway, moving on here. Hopefully we see this fight because actually it's a good fight. I mean, I was excited when I saw it. I sent it to the group chat of all of us. But I really hope this fight.
Yeah, that would have been a good one, and it's what was deserved after Tio's performance. He deserved to get one of the 2 other, you know, fighters that were on that card at the same weight class.
Jamie Munguia, test positive.
Any surprise?
Go back to role play. Go back to role play. You never tested positive with role play. Like, go back to role play. That's my advice.
It's one of those things. It's just like you say. I've never really encountered anything like that from Manny Robles or from a few other trainers for that matter. But with this one, there's a consistency there. And even with fighters that he manages, like, for example, was it Cesar Ray? I forget, from Mexico City what his last name is, but
Cuellar?
No. Cesar. I put him on, and in our chat, but
in the group. I remember when you did.
But you know what? He's also just made a comeback because he was suspended for quite some time. And so, yeah, I mean, just like all these fighters that revolve around him, whether he trains them or manages them, come up consistently popping dirty.
Well, look,
So
let's make sure we are not talking about Roble. You have to say you haven't said the person's name yet that they're connected to.
Yeah, you gotta out him, James. You gotta out him.
No, I just don't remember his name, but I could easily look it up.
Not
she
him,
means the trainer.
The trainer that you're talking about is related to all these boxers.
Oh, it's simple and clear. It's Eddie Reynoso.
Okay.
That's all. Yeah, we all know that.
Well, we do have. So we had Canelo with the Mexican meat. We had Valdez.
But Valdez was Valdez. I think Oscar Valdez was with another trainer at that point, but he did train there.
No, it was Reynoso.
It was time he popped dirty?
Because that's when he fought Robson. That was that fight where they still allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Reynoso was in his corner.
Okay.
Then we had Ryan Garcia was there for a short time. Andy Ruiz was there for a while. I forget who else, but it's been a couple of names. I don't want to say maybe there's a strength and conditioning coach that they use that they shouldn't be using. I'm not going to put it all on Reynoso, but boxers definitely got to be watching what they put into their system.
Guys, I think there's one common. I think there's one common denominator here, though. It's Mexico. It's obviously Mexico. Okay, they be tainting shit left and right. They putting fentanyl and drugs and everything now. Now they tainting our boxers with the PEDs. It's Mexico.
You're not gonna blame Mexico for this. You blaming an entire country.
I'm blaming Mexico.
A boxer knows that they are supposed to be watching everything that goes into their body, especially leading up to a fight.
Hey, that's your job. That's your job.
Yeah,
and I'm sorry,
but where they're at. Where there's
exactly where there's smoke, there's fire too. Look, you get one or two people, okay, we're more into 4, 5. Who's gonna pop next? Like that's where we're at. Let's not play games and say, oh, well, one person tests positive in camp. No, motherfucker. It seems to be everybody. What is going on? Eddie Reynoso needs investigated, and it's some fucking bullshit. If there was any way that there was like an MLB of boxing, which we're starting to get with the turf, but it's not there, I think we would at least have rules and say, hey, this dude might get banned from fucking boxing. You can't be giving your people PEDS the entire time. Everybody here is cheap. Now, let's look at this quote here. Regarding Eddie and Munguia, we are fully behind Munguia, Canelo said for translations. Oh, he knows what happened. In the end, he knows what occurred. You know what? And Canelo knows because only Canelo knows. All right, that was state. And then WBC going to change it and say, will we allow some of that drug now, just so you know, some clenbuterol. Come on, guys. This is what it is. It's the most corrupt goddamn thing in all of sports. We know boxing is just that. This is how it is. Nobody's ever going to be held accountable. Munguia is going to get a slap on the wrist. He'll be back in, 12 months, maybe a 6-month ban. Who knows? And in fact, if he gives a good enough bullshit-ass excuse, he won't even get that. He will get let off the hook.
Well, I have to agree with you, Lucas, on...
That's what happened with him. It's AIDS.
Yeah. And that frustrates me as well because Conor Ben was punished to the full extent. Don't
get me started on that. Don't even get me started on that.
But I agree with Lucas. And this nonsense about these fighters not knowing what happened. Come on. They keep saying that. I don't know what happened. I can't. You gotta know what you're ingesting in your body. You gotta know if it's tainted. You gotta know what chemicals are in there. You have to know what substances are in there. especially when you're training for a fight like this, you have to be aware of that. And like y'all are saying now, it's becoming a pattern. Look, there's a famous horse racing trainer who's been doping horses, and he's like the number one horse trainer in the world. And then all of a sudden, his horses just start popping, and he got penalized for it. And they're wondering how this went over their heads.
And who
It's
is this?
exactly what you're saying, Lucas. It's because you're giving them too much clout. You're giving them too much credit. You're giving them too much leeway. There's a pattern here. Let's start punishing.
The problem
I
is you
agree.
even have
Hey,
that.
CJ.
He says,
What's
meat
up,
Charlo
CJ?
style.
Yeah, that tainted meat. But also we have to at some point accept that this is something that is culturally, this is something that is in boxing circles now. Is that you can use these pads, but don't get caught. It's not wrong to use them. It's wrong to get caught. So we have to accept that there's something going on here. It's something that Paulie Malignaggi used to talk about all the time. Nobody listened to him, and he was saying, look, this is something that is systematic in our boxing system, like with boxers doing this. And then the ones that get caught, some of them are getting free passes. They'll go do a surgery while they're supposedly suspended, and they never miss a beat. They still have a fight when they usually have a fight. So there's some boxers that does occur to. And then there's other boxers who have to face penalties to the fullest, the maximum amount of penalty when it doesn't warrant it sometimes. Like I forget how many. I think it was 2.5 years that Conor Benn was suspended for. But that was his first offense.
That's just the BBC, right? Like he was not banned from everybody, just banned from the
he was. They respected the 2 years here in the U.S. and then after the 2 years, they said, now you can come fight here because obviously there was something else going on as to why the BBBFC decided not to lift that suspension for almost an entire another year, But they did respect the original time period.
Now, I'm going to backtrack to Haney just for a second because you look at how Ryan Garcia performed in that fight, and you look at the Rolly Romero fight. Rolly Romero and Haney, those two don't really go even on the same page. I think Haney wins that fight, no problem. Ryan Garcia, I think that shows the difference between doping and not doping. I really do. Not to mention the doping aspect for him, right? I hate the fact that he tried to take people to court. That's some bullshit, right? But in the same point, you want some tougher consequences, but no one will do it. WBC ain't going to do it. His promoter ain't going to. Who's going to do it? Who's going to actually say, hey, this is enough of this bullshit? There is no one. There is no one. So all I can do is take you to court because I ain't got no other thing to do. You're a cheating motherfucker. I want you to pay for it. But what do I do? What do I do? This is boxing.
Come on, Lucas, though. But that's not the situation with Ryan Garcia, though. Ryan Garcia was given a penalty by the New York Commission. Like he was being penalized.
Suspended a year.
Oh,
no, Luke, that hurt him. That hurt him in the Romero fight.
You know it as well as I do. He's been getting away with it. Canelo's been getting away with it. He's been dodging shit. He doesn't sign up for VADA 24/7. This happens all through the sport. It's disgusting. And no one is doing anything about it. We pretend like, oh, this WBC clean boxing program. Fuck off. You ain't doing shit. You were doing nothing. You were literally doing nothing.
No,
no
actually.
one cares. Baseball, you ban Barry Bonds, right? He's not mentioned that much. But at the same point, he still got away with a lot of shit too, right? But
boxing, they actually encourage it.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. What?
In boxing, they actually encourage it. if you think about it, we mentioned it earlier. There was a fight. It involved Conceição and Valdez, and that was okayed by one of the sanctioning bodies simply because, they look the other way because they can.
They want the fight.
But I'm with you.
Everybody does
Not,
whatever the fuck they want.
not for everybody.
Not
They
everyone
gonna do it
depends
for
on.
everybody,
Yeah,
and that's
It all
wrong.
depends. It all depends on who you are and who you know.
right, correct.
And that's wrong because
And what you
Povetkin.
look
Look
like.
at Povetkin.
And what
Right.
you look like.
Look at
But-
Povetkin.
But at the same point, even the little guys get away with a lot of shit too. Big Baby Miller, come on, man. After the third time, you're fucking out. You are never fighting again. Fuck off. That's what
But let
Sherman
me
said.
say,
Get out of the sport. No, you're going to kill somebody, and nobody cares. This is not hitting a baseball, right? This is a fucking contact sport. You get punched in the face. 12 people die on average a year, and we're allowed this shit to happen.
now I agree
I
with you there.
feel like I watched something today and it just still pissed me off when I saw it. I saw Cotto versus Margarita.
Oh shit.
Okay, some scene from it, right? And the damage that was done. And I was outraged again like it happened yesterday. And I wrote how this man should have been banned for life.
Right. How do you
when
fight
it was
in a
found
year?
out that occurred.
You're allowed back. Not only you're allowed back, you're allowed a lotto ticket like Manny Pacquiao. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm glad Manny Pacquiao beat the fucking brakes off his ass.
Right.
But, man, I'm having some fucking chest pain.
And then
Calm down. But not only that, you got to give credit to fighters like Cotto for going through that and exacting revenge. Okay, they
hang on. We don't know
the fighter
against
again.
Cotto. No, I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm saying he didn't test positive. Look, Margarito paid twice.
He didn't get checked. He didn't
paid
get checked.
twice. Sugar Shea Mosley beat the fuck out of him when he found it, and then Manny Pacquiao beat the hell out of him.
Right.
And then Cotto got him too. And then Cotto ended up fighting him.
And then Cotto got him. Cotto got him back.
He got him back.
But Cotto had a picture on this video. Cotto confronted Margarita, and he had a photo of the glove casting. And it was a crack, like it was a crack in the part that's supposed to be made of cloth and tape, and it was cracked, so you could see that it was not cloth and tape.
And see, that gets me because they're supposed to take that after a fight too. The sanctioning bodies and all that, they're supposed to take it. What are they doing with it? You had to have been like, that ain't right? Unless you literally just hired somebody that didn't know nothing about boxing. Was like, oh yeah, throw them away. I mean,
sometimes after the fights are over and it's a main event. Yeah, but sometimes when fights are over and it's after a main event and everybody's scattering and everybody wants to take pictures and, it kind of gets hard for even right after a fight, the doctors are trying to get the fighters to look at them so they can make sure they don't need to go to the hospital right then. And they're having to pull them over and, are you okay? And then they just yeah. And they don't want to be checked and stuff. So, I mean, that could have been the case in that fight too.
Cotto and them admitted they didn't properly check the wraps. Cotto and them admitted that they didn't do their job in checking the wraps. But I mean, and I say that because I give credit to those guys. Lucas, you getting raged about it and everything. But there is some get back in this sport. And then I sent y'all the interview with Chris Eubank Jr. And you should watch that. It was a very, very, very great interview. But they asked him why you want this rematch so bad with Conor Benn? Why did you even want to take the fight? He said, because this man cheated and he could have took my life in the ring. And he cheated and he could have took my life in the ring. So I take that serious. So
of course, it's always good to get your payback and stuff like that. But what about it not occurring in the first place? Because with Munguia's situation and his fight, Munguia's fight was May 3rd, right? On the Canelo card in Saudi Arabia. We didn't find out that there was an issue with the test until what, the end of May, like May 30th or May 29th. It was something like that.
I was
Like,
wondering if they
so
were even
it's
going to
like
tell us.
totally after the event is way over.
Yeah.
Like, how is that going to help a boxer in fighter safety?
One evidence of whatever you were doing too is like gone. So what were they not going to tell us at all? Like, what was your plan? Why did it take so long? You know, I know you had them fucking tests done. So why waiting to release the information? Look, Reynoso, he needs investigated. By who? That's the problem, right? Who's gonna hold Reynoso accountable? We ain't talking about one. We ain't talking about two. We ain't talking about three. We talking about 4, 5. Come on, guys. Where there's smoke, there is always fucking fire. Reynoso needs investigated. Everybody does. That whole camp.
Well,
Hey,
there's
Lucas,
a thing you should know about the testosterone that was found, and I believe they called it exogenous, which means that it's got to be introduced, externally. It's something that you take by intention, I think.
mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
What do you mean? Like,
there's
it
no
has to be given by like a needle or an IV?
something. I'm not sure exactly how they administer it, but it's the way it was categorized as exogenous, so that means that it is foreign. So there's really no way out.
I
Hey,
mean,
Lucas.
Munguia, get your butt back with Roble. Okay. I mean, I know it's cool to be with like the cash cow and, and you see all these different favors and different things that are, benefits to that. But, you got to do what's best for your career because you are not Canelo. You are Munguia, and people have a certain respect for you as Mexican fans. They don't want to hear about you having no slip ups. Because guess what? You're not Canelo. You need to
Now,
stay, you
You
need
don't
to
have that.
be in a situation where your fans can positively support you and want to continue to support you. Now, I'm giving him a pass this time because he is still young and it's the first time I've ever heard of him having any issues. So I look forward to seeing him back in the ring whenever his punishment, his suspension time is over. But the best thing to do is don't try to act like you don't know what happened and all this kind of stuff. Just be like, hey, I fucked up. That's what happened with Benavidez when he popped with the cocaine. He was like, yeah,
Hey,
I was young, I was partying, and I effed up. I really did. And
Well,
people
there's
know
no
that that's
denying
not
that
true.
one, though.
But I'm
yeah,
saying,
but
but people know
I
you're not perfect.
How did
Everybody knows
cocaine
people
get
are
in your
not perfect.
system? I don't know. No.
I can tell you through his nose.
Right.
I wholeheartedly
Well, they do a
agree.
lot of stuff with cocaine, guys, so it don't have to be through the nose.
I wholeheartedly agree.
TMI.
If Munguia comes out, right, and he said, look, I got my ass whooped. I was, just feeling really bad about myself, feeling like I couldn't win. I took it. I shouldn't have. Let me go ahead and agree. Say, hey, erase that. I don't want that win anymore. I did that wrong. Erase that. Let's do a rematch. I will do 24/7 testing after that. I got mad respect for that. I don't have mad respect for I'm going to make every excuse under the fucking book. I'm going to say I ate too much eggs. I'm going to say I ate some steak, Mexican steak. Shut the fuck up. Look, just say that you were wrong. Say that you're going to test 24/7 so I know your ass ain't cheating again. And we go from there. But anybody who ain't 24/7 testing, you're all suspect. Everybody's suspect.
But hey, Lucas, I got an answer for you though.
In
Who do
fact,
you?
they need to
Who?
put, hold on, they need to put that as a requirement so that you are unsuspended. Once you test positive, there you have to be 24/7. And if you don't like that, you just don't fucking fight. Go ahead, Rob.
Who do you? You said who do we get to investigate Reynoso and them? Contact your local congressman. Let's see if we can get another congressional hearing like we did in baseball.
They ain't gonna do shit about it. It's too much money. I mean, they ain't gonna ever do nothing about boxing. I love the sport, but at the same time, I fucking hate the sport. I love it with a passion, but when shit like this happens, I hate it with a passion because there is no repercussions. There is nothing. On some other news, Lomachenko retires. The God, as Javi would say. He ain't here, so I gotta say. The Matrix, the God, Lomachenko retires. Let's talk about it, guys.
37.
37, old, yet gone too quick, right? Like that is a quick career, professionally.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I was a little sad to hear he was retiring, but at the same time, I knew he had did enough. You know, he entertained us, and he went up to weight class that he knew that really wasn't his best weight class, so that he could get paid more money for fights, and that he could entertain with bigger names. And you know, I'm satisfied, and I'm happy for him, and also just the fact that, you know, when you hear him speak, you know, for him, he's saying there's way more important things that I need to be contributing to now, and fulfilling in my life's journey. And that's, you know, let you know that he's not the same boxer that he started out as, you know, fresh out of 3,000 fights or something like that in the amateurs.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
So we know he's not like the same guy that he started out as. And with there being a war in his country, and, you know, lives being lost, and him being more religiously minded, and really acknowledging that I've lost a lot of time with my family, with my career. If that's what he wants to do, I'm wholeheartedly behind it. Nobody should be telling a boxer when it's time to go and when it's his time. That's something that he's decided. I thank him for all the entertainment and the entertaining fights and the warrior mentality through all his fights.
Well, that's all good, but the idea is that he never fought Shakur, and he never fought Gervonta, and that's a real
He never
shame.
fought nobody.
You know,
Come on now, let's not
He
go
never
there.
beat no. My bad. I'm sorry. He never beat nobody. He never beat nobody.
Those are two separate
Sorry,
fights.
James.
He should have had at least one of those. Never faced Gervonta. That sucks.
Not sure about
I mean,
that.
I'm happy for him. He's gone, and he's going to do whatever he's going to do, and that's all fine. But there's a real hole in his record, the way I see it, in his professional record anyway.
I don't think so, because I mean, those guys you mentioned, they're like an entire different generation coming up. They're not like in the same age bracket even. It's just that he hung around so long that they ended up in the same weight class.
They're not different generations by any means. They should have met. Those fights could have been made. Those fights could have been made, and never did. I mean, he took a lot of time off, and then, you know, just walks away. But good for him. Good for him. I mean, he walks away.
And Tank both are like in their 20s.
No,
Lomachenko is about to hit 40. Like, that is not the same time period.
He's older, but they could have met. There's no question about it. They could have met, and those fights should have been made.
Maybe those fights business-wise could not be made, and he wasn't going to waste any more of his precious life and being away from his family for people around his orbit to make the fights happen. Like, he was in the game long enough that if those fights were going to actually materialize, it would have happened when both Shakur and Lomachenko was with Top Rank at the time. That would have been a time to do that. And there's no need for him to continue to wait around and stay and fight in shape for fights that he doesn't know for sure would have ever happened.
Okay, I got something to say.
Why would you wait around, you know?
Nah, I wouldn't.
I got something to say.
Exactly. Especially when they fight anyway. Mayweather was like, oh, no, you on lockdown. You can't fight him yet. You're going to wait till he gets old. Fuck off. Go ahead.
I got something to say. And this is going to be new law for me. Mm-hmm. New law. You already know the old laws. Under 130 don't count. This is one of them situations. This is going to transcend for me in all the sports because I'm tired of talking about it. And I'm tired of people saying who's great and who's not. I'm tired of people debating this stuff. What are we here for? What are we in this sport to do? What are we here for? Win. Win. I don't give a shit about your stats no more. I don't care about those. I don't care about how accurate you are, how many punches you throw, how many punches you land, how many jabs I'm the best jabber, how powerful you think you are, how many knockouts you think you can have. Did you fucking win? If you don't, and you're not a winner, you're not great. End of story. That's what we're here for. That's what everybody fucking argues about all the time is who's great. And then you put people up there on a pedestal who are not great. They don't win.
Hold on. So it's better to keep winning and fight bullshit competition. Is that what you're saying? Because that's what Tank's doing. That's your man right there. He's fighting bullshit, and you know it. He has not fought and actually beat a goddamn soul. He has not fought anybody that has a goddamn backbone. So don't sit here and talk about Lomachenko.
Did I say anything about Tank being Hall of Fame or being the best fighter out there? Anything? I did not say that right now.
You kiss his ass on the show 24/7. Let me break this down for you.
I did not. No. See, no, you're going back in the past. I'm talking about present. I'm talking about present. Now,
I mean, if you go past somebody,
when Tank was at 130, you said that you dropped your limit down to you're not shit if you're under 128 or 126. That's what you said.
It's always 130. It's always been 135.
Now that he's at 135, now you got it back up to fighters under 130.
It's always been 130, y'all. Just so y'all know, it's always been 130.
Let's rewind it. I want to talk CJ. CJ says is Loma first ballot Hall of Famer.
I'm answering that.
I'm thinking so. Okay, he's on the fence himself. He says Hall of Famer with an amateur record with 396-1 record. Thoughts on this? Look, I think we got where Rob's coming from. But for me, immediately fought somebody with a 25-3 record. That's his pro debut.
And lost.
No, he won that by KO. He lost to Orlando Salido.
Salido.
A championship fight. That was a championship fight, and he lost by 1 point across the board. Split decision, right? 1 point. All it took. And Salido pulled that out of his ass in that last round. I will give him that. It was a very close fight. His third fight was fucking Gary Russell Jr. Come on, guys. Win. Not only did he win, I think he pretty much dominated that fight. The fact that it was a majority.
You talking about Mr. Milk Carton? You talking about Mr. Wilk?
No. Not at that time.
Back then he was very active.
Yep. Not then he wasn't. That's right, James. Tell him.
He has no one with a losing record. He has no what do we call them, like step fights or no like keep busy fights. Lomachenko didn't do that. He stepped in the ring and then he stopped motherfuckers. He didn't just stop motherfuckers. He made people quit on their stools. Champions quit on their stools. Nicholas Walters.
Oh yeah, remember.
Oh, hey, Linares is another one.
Oh yeah,
Rigondeaux. Yeah. Come on, guys. These are names. These are names that should probably be in the Hall. Guillermo Rigondeaux should probably be in the Hall of Fame. He had a hell of a career. Linares, right? Picked himself off the canvas, won that fight. Rob, I'm sorry, but you're speaking badly upon Lomachenko, and that's only the first, 10 fights, if that. Pedraza,
I don't have any of those.
Pedraza lost all
any of those
fights.
guys in the Hall of Fame.
You don't have them in the Hall of Fame, but they're still champions.
Resendiz had a hell of a run. I'll give him Resendiz. He had a hell of a run. He's questionable Hall of Fame at best. But again, the name of the game is to get there, be the best, and win. When he got to the biggest fights in his career, he lost. And now he wants to tuck his tail in and run.
You're talking about the 2 fights he had at 135? That fight, which was a weight class he really shouldn't even been in? You keep bringing up that he lost. He only lost what? He got two losses on his record, or 3?
The 2. He got 3.
But
Salido, of course.
Salido. He had Salido in the second
fight.
So.
Teofimo, and then Haney. These are the 3 fights you talking about in his entire career.
And honestly,
not to
those
mention-
3 could be home. I mean, it just depends how the rest
And
of
that's
their
a
careers
3
go.
division. I think he's a 3 division world champion.
And he lost all 3 of them. And he lost all 3 of
He
them.
was a pound for pound boxer, dominating on the pound for pound top 5 list for how many years?
How many losses Muhammad Ali got, bro?
Right.
Muhammad
Nobody
Ali
remembers
has
the
losses, yes.
How many?
Muhammad Ali has
many?
losses on his career,
More
but
than
the
3?
man won at the pinnacle. He's champion among champions. Don't you sit here and compare Lomachenko with Muhammad Ali, gosh damn it.
I ain't comparing them. I'm comparing records. You're talking about winning, and what I'm saying is Ali didn't always win. He didn't win every fight, right?
And
There's a lot of
Lomachenko
fights
doesn't
and
have
the thing about it is
there was no George Foreman 2. There was no rematch.
And the thing about it is, it's about who you lose to. Like, I'm okay with Lomachenko losing to someone that is also, a phenom. Teofimo at the time where he still displays in the ring aspects that other boxers cannot do. I mean, I'm okay with him having a loss to him.
We're not also talking about
a loss
ass
against
whooping,
Haney
right?
when it was a close fight that really could have went either way.
Teo could have went either way.
Lomachenko
Teo could have went either way.
That was a
Both of those were close fights.
It was an amazing fight. I remember that fight. It was great to watch. And I would have rather been Lomachenko in that fight, to be honest. But the point is you're talking about these 3 losses and Salido, that was also an amazing fight. That fight, they was going at it. And that was only his second fight. And that was only his second fight of his professional career. And he went toe-to-toe with a veteran and almost pulled out a win. Like, so I'm okay. As long as your competition is great, which is what Lomachenko was doing, was facing the best at the division at that time that he was, moving up to the division.
Listen,
he had 21 fights. He had 21 fights. Pro fights.
When he got to 135, he faced the best competition that was available at that time.
That's and lost.
Hell yes. No. Listen.
But it has. But our question to you was, sorry, Lucas. But our question to you was, who has Tank fought that was the best at his division of 135?
He got way more than 21 fights.
No. That's not what I asked.
He got way more than 21 fights.
That's worse.
Ask you, who has Tank fought that's top tier that at 135?
And his career isn't over with. That's a null and void point right now.
No,
Tank's
it's
career
not.
is
Not at all.
going.
We're talking about
still going.
Division.
He's a current champion, and he's fighting nobodies. Meanwhile, you got Lomachenko going up and fighting the best. Look, there are guys who go up, grab titles, and then, a weak title and come back down. Okay? That's what happens. That's what happens is what boxing is about. I'm going to go here, and I usually don't go here. Manny Pacquiao, I love you, Mario Barrios, too. No disrespect here, but I think he wants to come back. He really wants to test himself to see what he can do. I think Barrios, in Pacquiao's mind, is the easiest belt for me to try to grab, right? This is the easiest way for me to get a belt. So that is his, and Canelo does that shit too. Oh, let me go up. Oh, and then I'm going to vacate.
Yeah.
Lomachenko don't do that. Lomachenko fought the fucking best, win or lose, whatever, but he fought the best available, and he kept going up.
So keep going.
He did what you wanted.
Keep going.
He
can't.
Your body is limited, bro. Rob, you can't just go up forever.
CJ too, Lucas. For CJ, you're saying with 21, career pro fights, but think about it. That makes what he did even more extraordinary. You're a 3-division champion, and you did it in shorter time period than most guys who fought 50, 60 fights and never got to 3 divisional champions. So I'm all for, I don't care about the time period that you spend in a sport. I don't care about the number of fights, because the shorter the amount is, the more extraordinary it makes your career look. The fact that you got there.
If you take on those extraordinary fights, if he didn't do it, he knew his age.
Wait. In his third pro fight, he beat Gary Russell Jr., What do you want?
Lucas, where the fuck is Gary Russell Jr. at now?
That ain't
That
the
got to
point.
do with it.
Yeah, but
Yes, that's a
when
point.
they fought.
Back
When
then,
they actually fought.
You keep saying back
Gary
then.
Russell Jr. was the
Where is he
hot
now?
He was
Where
a
is
hot
he
ticket
now?
back then.
Where's Tank now? You love Tank. I love Tank too. He gives us
He's
thrilling
still
fights.
fighting.
But he just lost to his sparring partner too. That was a huge upset with Lamont Roach. Okay, either Lamont
But he
Roach was
didn't
very,
lose.
very underrated, or Tank finally met somebody that was a greater talent than he was, that he didn't think was going to win, but that did win. So you can't talk about other boxers as far as 135 and who they fought if you support one of the boxers that doesn't fight another world champion.
He's not retiring. That's not the topic of discussion. The topic is Hall of Fame. Tank ain't nowhere near the Hall of Fame yet.
He's ready to retire.
Well, according to him,
he's ready to retire soon. That's what
But
Tank
he's
says
not
out of his own
retiring.
mouth.
So that's a new point.
Okay, hold on. Rob, hypothetical, because he has mentioned retiring. He says he wants to go to therapy, so that and therapy won't change him. He ain't gonna have the dog in him anymore, right? So let's say he wants to do that. He has one more fight, right?
Lucas, Tank is not Hall of Fame right now.
Exactly.
At all. He's
my
not.
point. But you back him. Here's where I'm so
That's not Tank. Why y'all keep putting Tank in the fucking top? That's not the topic.
Oh, it is a topic, and I'm going to link these two, right? Because what does Tank do? No, I don't want that fight. Mayweather says, no, Tank's going to fight him later. Oh, no, we don't want that. Lomachenko shows a little cheek in the armor, and all of a sudden, Tank wants that fight now. And Lomachenko said, fuck you, peace out. He's trying to do the same bullshit Canelo is, go up and grab that belt. The only thing is he's trying to grab Lomachenko's name. I got to win over Lomachenko. No, that's all he's doing is he knows he's getting old. He knows he's slowing down. And Tank says, I'm going to take advantage of that. Well, fuck off, Tank, because you ain't getting no easy win. Look, you still got Isak Cruz problems, man. You practically lost that fight. So let's not sit here, Rob, and talk about people who can't win and go into that. He should have lost against Isak Cruz. The only thing that kept him from losing that is the millions of dollars that are backing him. That's it.
Topic.
It is. It is the topic because
it's not. You're off topic.
It is
going into a whole
not at all. It's actually very off
I think
topic.
our next comment will answer this correctly, Lucas. Our next comment is pretty spot on with this. Go ahead and read that for me because I'm about blind.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but 14-3 in world title bouts is nothing to sneeze at. If you compare his world title records to other greats in the past, they are very similar. Just saying.
Boom.
So he retires. He retires and he walks away. But man, to me, he should have fought Shakur. Should have fought Tank Davis, and those are two big fights that he had that he should have did for his career.
You're acting like he didn't say that he would fight them earlier in his career. Now they want to, he doesn't have to. But,
what he said is irrelevant. What he said is irrelevant.
You're making it seem like he's avoided those two fights when in actuality, no, he didn't. He's tried to make those fights prior. No, he didn't.
Yeah, I don't think he avoided that at all.
Those fights were never made.
Tank had tried to make. No, it was Lomachenko and Tank. They were supposed to fight. They went in, we are about to fight. Then all of a sudden it was like, no,
he could make them now.
Ready for that fight.
Guess
what? At the time, Tank wasn't ready for that fight. So Troy, to me, did the right thing. But don't act like he avoided these two fighters when they had been previously tried to make them two fights before.
He took time off.
Over here
Instead of fighting Shakur, he decided to take time off.
Right. He decided instead of fighting all of them, he decided to take time off.
Instead of fighting Shakur, he ended up fighting Haney. That's what happened.
Yeah,
he could have fought these guys after. Listen, since we're comparing fighters and stuff, this the type of stuff I want on your resume when you end your career. This is what I want. Oscar De La Hoya. Ricky Hatton, Juan Mel Marquez, Shane Mosley, Miguel Cotto, Canelo Alvarez, Marcus Maidano, Manny Pacquiao. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I want to see on your fucking resume when you end your career.
They're not in the sport, bro. There's no one there. There's no one there to fight. You can't do that. You can't say, "Oh, I want
Bullshit at 135. He can fight Tank, Shakur, Haney again for another rematch.
They
No
Garcia,
way.
the
Haney's
names
way
are
too
there.
big now.
No, they
The
want
names
say,
are
man,
fucking there.
No.
When I opened up that link this morning, I was really, really disappointed to see him walk away without having
I
fought
was
these guys.
happy for him. I was so happy for him. He's 37. He has a family. His country is at
Lucas,
war.
my chest
And
hurts.
these fights should have been made prior to this point in his career.
Yeah, but you
If
mentioned
they
he's 30.
hadn't been made at
You
this
mentioned
point, why would he stick around for these two fights that he don't know whether it's really going to happen or not?
they could happen.
It
But he's
wasn't going
37.
to happen.
Big deal if he's 37. Manny Pacquiao's like 90.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
shouldn't be coming
also
back either with
different.
this crazy ass.
Right. That's not a good. That's not a good analogy. A comparison. That no.
If Manny Pacquiao can fight at 50 or whatever he is,
And then Rob
Loma
is
can
bringing
fight
up
at
all
37.
these other champions. He
It's
said
37. It's not 47.
that boxers are not fighting that many times a year now, so they can never be a Ricky Hatton or some of them other names you mentioned that's got so many more fights. They can't do that now because they don't fight as often. That's just
Well,
how
I think
it
he
is.
And
probably
that's
look at
the
that.
problem. That's the whole problem. Look at this shit with Lomachenko. He last fought in 2024. That was his last.
Last year, okay.
Hold on. That was his last fight, right? Before one time in 2020. One time.
All right.
One time in 2023. One time in 2022. Then twice in 2021. Once in 2020. Twice in 2019. Twice in 2018. What the fuck are you doing fighting 2 times a year? And you that old.
Well, CJ said 17 of the 21 fights were for world titles. None were undisputed, I believe. But still,
undisputed was hard to come upon until just recently. No one was fighting undisputed, and now everybody does, which is weird to me. But I mean, those.
Well, I'm just saying it doesn't matter if it's undisputed or not. 17 of 21 of your fights is like most of your fights were world championship fights.
Not just that.
Like, that's the main point. Thanks, CJ. Who's next? We got another comment.
I know. Hang on. No, I'm posting something real quick. Well, okay. I'll go to that. Hang on. Damn it.
I had to take some aspirin.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Loma is 14-3 in world title bouts. If you compare world title records to other greats, they were inducted. They were very similar. If I was his representative, I would advocate quality over quantity. I'm just saying. And they got a lot of filler. You know, there's a lot of filler in them records. There is no filler. Lomachenko fought opponent after opponent.
He did.
Twice a year. Yeah, twice a year.
Everybody else. Like everybody else, goddammit.
The best of it that was available is who he fought. Leave that man alone. And when you bring up he only fought one time in the last 2 years, that was when the war started for Ukraine. As a matter of fact, he didn't even know if he was going to come back at all when it first started. He was
Well, I think that has a lot to do with it. That has a lot to do with it.
Okay, his entire Loma's opponent's record, 461 wins, 45 losses. That's a lot.
I mean, and I don't think people
he
really
didn't
understand. Right. And I don't think people really understand how stressful it is for you to be, you know, your country to be at war and your family and your extended family and your friends that you grew up with, your ballet classes, your gyms, everything is getting destroyed. You don't know if your family is safe. That's a lot of stress on you. And then you want somebody to concentrate on boxing. Like,
just to back that up, I met someone from Ukraine last night, and the city that they were raised in is no longer there. Gone. Fucking
totally
gone. Yep.
So if you needed your birth certificate or some kind of like documents from there, it ain't happening. It's just
Gone.
all obliterated.
Gone. Everything's gone.
See.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
CJ says here, Salvador Sanchez had 9 title defenses in a 2.5-year span, complete 3 Hall of Famers before he died. Not that is the type of fighter Rob is talking about.
Salvador Sanchez, okay, he had 9 title defenses in 2.5 years. Okay. I feel like now. All right, BJ.
Not
Awesome.
just now.
Now
That is the type
now
of
that
fighter
is
Rob-
the
Okay,
type.
now that the type of fighter Rob is talking about. And it's 9 title fights. And we said Lomachenko had 17 title fights.
Look,
Just to put that in perspective.
and we keep
Well,
forgetting
that's what
this
it's
is not
saying. Not in 2.5 years, maybe his whole career, but in 2.5 years is what he's saying. And he
Oh,
beat
now you
3
got a
Hall of
problem with
Fame.
the amount of years that it
uh,
happened in. Okay.
look.
I'm
I
done
think
with
they
you.
need to rename the Hall of Fame. I think Hall of Fame is a bad name. You're gonna allow like Sylvester Stallone and other referees, shit like that in here. Look,
Jake Paul.
that is the Hall of Fame. I agree, but we need a Hall of the Greats or something else, right? Because again, like he just said, I believe Jake Paul might even fucking get in here. He's a promoter. He's a fighter. They could throw him in there. And I see you shaking your head, James, but this is boxing,
As-
okay?
Yeah,
Crazy as
he
shit
would,
is happening.
he would
As-
definitely qualify if it for Florida Boxing Hall of Fame. I can only speak for us. He would qualify under the promoter category for having
Yeah, there's promoter categories.
so many fights in a state. So definitely he would qualify for that, and definitely. When you start talking about the benefits and the support he's giving women boxing, that's going to open up some other ones like up in New York right now when he's going to have this full women's card that's like stacked to the brim. Like those are going to be things that make you Hall of Fame worthy. But tell me this. I don't understand why some people don't have to do as much and then they're popular enough that they get in the Hall of Fames. And then other people are not popular enough but got better accolades and they're still on the list of prospects. You know what I'm saying? Like prospectively, we can vote in another year or 2 years and then we can add them to the Hall of Fame now. So what Lucas is saying has some truth to it, where it's become more of a popularity contest in some instances for some people, and less about what you actually earned and what you actually deserve.
Now, guys, we're also talking about boxing, okay?
Yeah.
Retirement never all the way sticks with a lot of people, right? He might come back. Shit, Tyson Fury's retired about 8 times in the last 3 years. It happens, right? Who knows? He might still fight. I'm not saying it's out of the possibility. I for sure think he could get another fight. He could get talked into it. Let him go a year with no money rolling in again, and might return to the ring.
Yeah.
I'm not putting it past him at all. Now, guys, did want to talk. We do have some fights coming up. We're not really going to go over anything like predictions, but we got Keyshawn Davis and Edwin De Los Santos fighting for Davis's WBO light heavyweight title.
Like heavyweight.
My bad, lightweight title. I should know that anyway. But
this kid's growing up.
that's going to be on ESPN Plus, and then this weekend as well, we got Nakatani versus Nishida. And that's a unification bout. Bantamweight, so sorry, Rob won't be watching it.
Yeah, because bantamweight is too small, right, Rob?
It is too small.
But you watch the monster. Just saying.
You got to watch the monster.
God,
He does.
I want you to comment. Sorry,
also, I forgot to mention Friday is the International Hall of Fame Friday fights. by Salida Boxing. And we have Florida's very own heavyweight Brandon Moore fighting as the main event. Franchon Cruz is fighting for the Juneteenth WBC belt. And I like my Bryce Mills. Watch him at welterweight. He's an amazing fighter too. That's on an amazing win streak. And they have him fighting in Turning Stone a lot as a fan favorite because he lives up there in that area, you know, so he can bring in a lot of fans. So definitely pay attention to that fight. It's going to be on DAZN, I believe. And then Saturday night, there's also a Most Valuable Prospects 13 card over in Orlando that you can check out. And that is MVP in association with Box Lab Promotions at the Caribe Royale Resort. And they're going to have championship fights. It's going to be two females. That's the main event. Ferreira and it's two F's. Their names are very similar. But it's going to be like a Latin crowd because one boxer, she's from Brazil. The other one is from Argentina, I believe. So it's, you know, like War of the South America. So check them out too.
For sure. Then I forgot about Jay Patel defending his title against Claudio Steele. That's on me on DAZ and of course for his IBF cruiserweight title. Guys, definitely check us out again next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Well, let's see, we got a comment. I'm gonna. His arms are quick. We may laugh and sneer, but if Jake Paul and MVP promotions continue on this trajectory in the next 15 years, they are doing young prospects women's boxing. You may have to consider him in the future as a promoter. He's freaking crazy, but it's possible. I agree. It's pretty crazy, but definitely on the realm of possibility. This is the Hall of Fame. It's not the Hall of the Greats. It is what it is.
I mean, but merit is merit. Those are actual things that he's actually doing here.
No, there's a lot of categories.
He's doing a lot for women, that's for sure.
There's a lot of categories.
And all prospects. It's men on these prospect cards that have risen to popularity as well. Bantamweight Antonio Vargas, he just got he's been on a few of their cards as prospect material. He's now the WBA world champion, and he's just got picked up by Matchroom in conjunction like Box Lab Promotions, like they're co-promoting him now. Like that's somebody who's benefited from these cards.
He's one to watch.
Yes, very much.
Vargas Jr. He's one to watch. That's Fernando's son. He's one to watch.
Oh, you're talking about that's a different Vargas. You're talking about Emilio Vargas. Yeah.
Emilio, okay.
Yeah, he's a featherweight, I believe. But
there's three.
Yeah, there's three of them, but the one that everybody has their eye on is Emiliano that is signed with Top Rank. But I like all of the talk that we had tonight, guys. I think that those are like some great topics, and we can argue about who is Hall of Fame worthy and who isn't for years and years to come. But Rob, you're wrong. Okay, you're wrong in this instance. Lomachenko deserves to be a Hall of Famer, damn it.
Yeah, it seemed like it was split. James and Rob said no. Lucas and Shakur, we say yes. Are you pro Lomachenko going to the Hall, or are you against it? Please comment. Let us know on this. Definitely follow us on all of our social media at Heavy Bag Boxing. Thank you all for watching. Have a good night. Check us out next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. Have a good night.